Hey beer tubers, it's Ryan back with another episode of San Diego Beer Vlog. Today I'm doing something different. Reviewing 2 beers in 1 review, and I'm also doing a vertical of Stone's Double Bastard Ale. I have a 2009 edition over here, and then the brand new 2010 release that just came out November 1st. So this is their doubled up version of the infamous Arrogant Bastard, and I did have a little bit of a preview of the 2010 version, and 2009, well, it's been a long time on that. And as a side note, they are putting out, this is the 13th year of this beer, and they're going to be putting out a special blend that blends the regular Arrogant Bastard, the Double Bastard, and the Oaked Arrogant Bastard all into one beer. So I haven't seen that yet, but I will be on the lookout for it and do a review of that as well. But first, on my left, is the 2009 release, so let's get that open. I mean, this is a beer I can get year-round, even though it's a kind of a one-time release in November. This version is 10.5% ABV. And I bought it a few months back, so it's been sitting in a refrigerator, hopefully, for the past year. Nice sweetness, maltiness in there. You do get a slight hop character, but it's very faint. It definitely smells more like a barley wine. It's got like some caramel notes. Hint of dark fruits in there as well. Definitely sweeter on the nose. Appearance wise, I got about a finger head, don't expect it to last much. Very much kind of a coppery color there, like a dark orange color on there. So let's get the 2010 version poured. This one's a little higher in ABV according to the bottle. They list it as 11.2%. So let's see how the colors compare on this one. I'm using the exact same glass. So I'm not going to let the shape determine any of the notes on there. You know, color-wise, they're pretty close. This year's is actually slightly darker. It's getting into like a ruby red, like really dark orange ruby red. Got about the same one finger head. Let me see if I can swirl up this one. I didn't get quite the head color on it, but they look pretty similar. Last year's is slightly darker. It's got like a nice orange tint to it. This one's more just straight off-white. Very light brown. These are both very hazy beers. Can't really see a whole lot of light through it. So let's get the nose on this one. Definitely more hops in there. The hops, they say it's classified, so I don't know what varieties they're using. But I'm guessing that it's very floral hop variety. They're probably using some extremely bittering hops, but as far as like the aroma addition, bit of spice, but mainly floral. This one also has a bit of a sweet smell, but there's much more of a hop character. I don't get the malts as much on this one. So let's dig into the 2009 first. Yeah, it's a big beer. Well, I mean, I get just a faint bit of alcohol in the back, but I mean, it's over 10%. Up front, you get some really nice, sweet, like ton of caramel, just ton of malt hits you kind of up front. And actually towards the back, the hop character, it's still there. It keeps it from going sweet on you. At first you're kind of like, oh, this is like a barley wine, you know, big caramel notes, some little bit of dark fruit in there. And you think, oh, this is going to be really sweet. You also get a bit of a chocolate character in the malt as well. And then towards the back is actually when you get the hop character in it. It's kind of like a generic hop character at this point. It doesn't have any kind of like floral or piney or citrusy notes to it. It's just that kind of hot bitterness just comes in and keeps it from just going too sweet on you. But it's pretty smooth beer now. This beer does pack a big punch. Arrogant Bastard was pretty much the first extreme beer I ever had, and I remember that was blowing my socks off. Never had anything like it. And then the double version's definitely a different animal. Sure, there's more hops, but there's also much more of a malt backbone. It does finish on the dry side for the 2009, so let's try the 2010 version. Oh yeah, way more hops. Way more hops up front. Much still. This is like, wow, for 11.5%, I mean, there are just an astonishing amount of hops in this beer to keep it on the bitter side. I mean, there is some sweetness in there with that malt. You do get that caramel malt, but much more faint in the background presence-wise in this fresh release. Yeah, that's a sane amount of hops in there. That's impressive for this big of a beer to not be as sweet. I mean, you can definitely tell in the 2009 that sweetness comes in up front. And this one, up front, you get blasted with the hops. It's definitely that kind of earthy, not really piney on the piney side, but more like earthy, floral component. Slight bit of spice, but not a whole lot. And then midway through, the malt kind of kicks in, but then the finish, they kind of fuse together. So up front, you're blasted with the hops. Midway through, the malt does kick in. You get some of the caramel, a little bit of dark fruit. It's not too much. I mean, it is kind of like an imperial red ale, if you will. I mean, well, the regular Arrogant Bastard is almost like imperial red ale. So this one, I mean, I don't even know what you'd call this. It's just its own category. It's like just the ultra extreme kind of red ale. I mean, it does have a reddish tint to it. Light, you get more of the orange going through, but so it's hard to choose between the two. The 2010, it's higher ABV, but maybe because I've been drinking on the 2009, I'm not really picking up a whole lot of alcohol in it right now. But let me try this one and see if I can still detect some of the alcohol in it. Yeah, actually, I do get like a slight bit more burn from the 2009 version, even though I'd say it's a lower ABV. This one definitely drinks more like the Stone Old Guardian barley wine. And this one, maybe it's the hops are masking that alcohol more, but I can't really taste it a whole lot. So I think what I'm going to do is let both of them warm up and see what kind of characteristics might change within them, and give you my final verdict on them. So back in a bit. Okay, so I'm back with the 2009 and 2010 versions of Double Bastard. The 2009, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm drinking about a full ball's worth of 11% beer, but the 2009, it's warmed up. I don't get some of that alcohol on there anymore. It's real nice. It drinks very much like the Stone Old Guardian barley wine. Nice. It's still got the hop character, so it doesn't go overly too sweet, but it doesn't have, you know, that fresh character in it. But nice caramel maltiness, a little bit of dark fruits in there as well. And for the 2010, it's like you get the hop character, and there's a lot more bitterness in it. But there's also like a little bit of sweetness in the hops. I'm trying to put my finger on it. It's kind of like, not kind of like into like an apricot kind of fruitiness in the hop character, but then there's some earthiness and a floral component in there as well. So I'd really love to know what hops they're using in it, but I'm sure they're using some really high alpha acid hops for the bittering on this for 11.2%. Yeah, 11.2% beer that's this bitter. Well, I shouldn't say this bitter, this hoppy. It's not an overly bitter beer, but it's definitely very hoppy. And you get the hops, you know, all the way through the mouthfeel on this one. And then you have that similar malt backbone that you get in the 2009 that's in there. It's just not as present in the 2010. So I like both versions, but immediately considering when it was cool, as it warmed up, the 2010 version I do like better than this aged 2009 version. This one's an A beer. This is an excellent beer. It's unbelievably how hoppy and smooth drinking this beer is at 11.2%. And it's got some nice flavors going on with the hops and the malts there to back it up. Doesn't go too sweet. And then this one's aged very nicely, very much like a barley wine, and very solid. I'd maybe put this in the B+ to A- range, but I just wanted to see how they compared. Since I haven't had this for a year, I don't know how it was aged, you know, where it's spent its last year. So I don't know how much maybe light damage it might have gotten to the beer, or if it was cold the whole time, but it tastes pretty good. I'm not detecting any really off flavors to it, so. I wish I could drink both these bombers right now, but that would just get me absolutely hammered, so I'm going to save them for another time. Please comment and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, cheers.